Hi guys, today we are going to work on the Winsor & Newton dot cards. So if you've never heard of dot cards before, they are a great resource. Several brands do them and they're a great resource to try all the colours before you purchase them. And these particular dot cards come with 109 colours. So Winsor & Newton is a brand I have been gravitating towards. I really enjoy some of their colours. And also some of their other products like the sketchbook that I just shared the sketchbook flip through. So today we are going to swatch these with the Da Vinci No. 5 brush. So I would normally swatch with my Escoda Reserva No. 6, but I want something a little bit smaller because there's not much pigment here and I want to be able to swatch it a couple of times and possibly do some mixes or some comparisons with the paint. Okay, so I'm going to just talk you through some of the colours, so I won't go through everything. I will sort of put in some input if I have something that I want to share about the colour. Other than that, I'll just let you watch it. And then this is part one, so we'll swatch the first page today. We will swatch the next page in the next video, and then I'll just condense it to a really quick video and speed it all up so it's a reference if you want to go back and look at anything. So first of all, if you don't know much about paints, you can see here we have 10 yellows. So they're all slightly different. Some of them look fairly similar, but they'll have different properties. So if you're looking for something that's more light fast, more enduring, if you're looking for something that granulates, they might have, you know, a different option for you. So I generally tend to use, I really love the Schmincke lemon yellow, and I just generally tend to use that and mix it with Daniel Smith French Ochre if I want to, you know, make it a bit darker. But I've been looking around for some other yellow options and there are some really nice ones here. I really like the Windsor lemon. So the lemon yellow is a little bit weak for me, but I really like the Windsor lemon and I really like the lemon yellow deep. So this one we're going to swatch now is the Windsor Lemon, and all the Windsor colours are really pretty in this range I found as well. So one thing to note is how I'm doing the swatches. So I'm starting at the bottom of the rectangle and I'm wetting it, and then I'm going back up and activating the pigment so that to see how it travels in the water. So it's a really good way to already get an idea of the dispersion capacity of each pigment. And the other thing you'll notice is when I touch some colours, they explode into the water, and then some are harder to re-wet. So that might be something, you know, to note as well. I know some people really like a colour that is straight out of the gate ready to go, whereas I am happy to work for the colour. So if it's something that I'm really interested in and I think that it will be a benefit to the painting, I'm happy to just put some water on it and let it sit for a couple of minutes and then, you know, work with it. So there are a couple of interesting choices for oranges here. I really tend, I think, towards more of a vermilion, and you'll see the next colour that we swatch is the Windsor Orange Red shade. So it's more of a vermilion, a red orange. And when you mix this one with white, it becomes pretty similar to shell pink, Holbein shell pink. So, you know, this is a really good one if you are on a budget and you just want to get the one colour and you'll be able to make more colours out of it. And I will show you at the end my picks from this palette, so I can make a 24 palette that's pretty close. So if these are more readily available to you in some cases than like the Daniel Smith ones, I'll show you some colours that work really well instead of those. And I was just also pleasantly surprised with some colours that I'll want to add to my lineup. But as far as the reds go here, I'm not really thrilled with anything. I do like the Scarlet Lake, but I do have a video about colour building with reds and the reds that I particularly choose. And so I still really like those. I wouldn't, you know, I haven't found anything here to replace those, but let's keep moving. Also, you can see how most of these reds really, like as soon as you activate them, they you know, explode into the water, so that's a really good point for them. But one thing that I'm really interested in, and we will swatch this now I think, is the Ochre Rose. So it has a lot of neon pigment in it, so if you can't get your hands on the Nibs Watercolors Azalea, this is a great alternative. So the next one we're going to swatch is the Quinn Magenta, and this is the base colour for Ochre Rose. So once the neon particles fade, this is what you'll be left with. So I don't normally have this in my palette because I already have it in the Ochre Rose, if that makes sense. So this is the Cobalt Violet that I have in my palette, and I find it the easiest to re-wet out of all the ones I've tried. So you can see here, it still is a little bit difficult to re-wet, but generally just drop a drop of water on it with your brush and leave it a minute or two, and it will be really nice to work with. And I'm also really interested in this colour. So this is Permanent Mauve, so it is a really pretty one as well. And then if you mixed this with a little bit of pink, you could get this a bit brighter as well. But a couple of these granulate with kind of a matte satin finish, and they're really soft and pretty. So this is one of them as well, the Permanent Mauve. This one here is the Ultramarine Violet, and that is another favourite of mine. So I have the Daniel Smith version at the minute, but this one is equally as beautiful. Okay, so there are quite a few blues that I really enjoy in this range. So on the line before, on the very right hand side, is Cobalt Blue Deep, which is a really beautiful version of a cobalt blue. And then on this line, the first one we did is the Manganese Blue Hue, which I really do like that colour. So that is another real pretty one. And then, let's see, I just did the Cobalt Turquoise Light, which I really want to try this version out a lot more. It's a really nice one. And then the one, not the one I'm doing, but the one beforehand, that was the Cobalt Turquoise. And that is an excellent alternative for the Daniel Smith Sleeping Beauty. It's, if not the same, you could barely tell the difference. It has that same soft, subtle granulation and the same sort of matte satin finish. It's really pretty. So that is the Cobalt Turquoise. It's the 5th one from the left there. So the one we're doing now is the Windsor Green, and that is a very pretty shade. You can water that down to make it really a pale sort of pretty colour. And then the one before that was Cobalt Green, and then before that was Cobalt Green Deep. And again, they have a really beautiful matte satin sort of finish with a soft granulation, so I'd like to try more of those. So the one I'm doing now is the Windsor Green yellow shade. So the one that I did before was Windsor Green blue shade, and then the one in the middle there you can see is the Viridian, and you can see here that I'm trying to activate it and still nothing's happening. So it's one that you would have to use out of the tube, but it is a very light fast one, so that might be something that you want to look into if you're looking for a light fast color that's that shade and you want to use it out of the tube. That'd be a great one. As far as the ochres go, nothing here really stands out to me, you know, that I would switch out my Daniel Smith French ochre for. I do like the yellow ochre. I like the tone of it. It's a little bit more brown than yellow, which is what I like. See here, I'm still trying to go back and activate the Viridian while it's wet. And I do like the idea of some of these browns along this row. So the gold ochre is quite a pretty version of it's a little bit less intense and a bit less sort of it's a bit more natural looking version of like a Quinn gold. So you'll see this one here is the Quinn gold, sort of an almost unearthly glow underneath it. So I really prefer, like, the gold ochre has a bit more of that natural tone. And then I really like the brown ochre and the magnesium brown as well. They're quite pretty as well. Again, you can go and look at any of my palette videos or my color building videos to see what colors I generally use and what's in my palette at the minute. So this kind of, you know, I want to swatch all these colors. So we'll swatch the Winsor & Newton, the Daniel Smith and the Schmincke dot cards to see, you know, what else is out there, if something's more readily available to you, and I'll give you my picks and we'll do some mixes and some comparisons of them. So I'm really liking this light red and the Venetian red as well. They are really nice and slightly different to the Sedona and the roasted French ochre that I generally use, but they're a similar type of a thing. And so in the next video I'll show you a page where I did just some quick swatches and to compare them, and then once we have all the dot cards done, I will do like a little comparison of all the colors, or, you know, I mean the colors that I would gravitate towards, ones that I would use, and why they're a little bit similar or different. So I'm really loving this neutral tint. It looks a bit more like an indigo, which I really love. And then the ivory black, the lamp black and the Mars black, I like them all. One's a little bit more cool toned, a bit more, the ivory black's a bit more warm toned, and the Mars black's just a really nice granulating version of a black. I think generally I would be more drawn to the ivory black as a non-granulating sort of warm shade, grey to black, and then I'd like the Mars black as the granulating, but I can't say I don't like the lamp black as well, so I don't really know about that. And then as far as the next three colours go, the last three colours on this page, I'm not a big fan The white, I like the Grumbacher titanium white. It is so creamy and easy to re-wet, which is just what I want when I'm using a white. I don't want to have to, for some reason, you know, once I've found that there is a white available that can just give me that instant creaminess, that's what I love to use. So I think that's about it for today, guys. I will try and get the next page up today, later on today as well, and just get a quick sort of couple of minutes speed through so you can just reference anything. I'll give you some close-up shots here as well so that you can pause it and see, and then I will just kind of flip through and show you how I condensed this. So I went from the dot cards, and then I did my sort of top favorite picks from there, and then from there I condensed it into like a 24 palette. Okay, so you can see how I have condensed this down to 24, and I would probably take out the green gold and one of these three browns and put the Ultramarine Violet and Cobalt Violet in. I can't believe I forgot them. So, and then I would add the Grumbacher titanium white to make it a set of 24, and from that set I can make so many things like the shell pink with the, you know, Windsor Orange and the white, and I can make the composed greens, like all the ones that I love from Holbein I can create from this set. So I hope that helps if you're looking for you know, colours and maybe Daniel Smith isn't available where you are, and regardless I want to add some of these colours to my palette. I really like them. A couple of colours on the next page as well, so I showed them there, but that we haven't actually swatched them yet, so that should be up soon, and I will see you guys then. Bye.